Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast of the Damned. I am Oz. Today we are going to be talking about the elevator game. I was trying to look for a topic to do for this one, and this one has always caught my eye. This and the Midnight Man game, which I'll be covering in another episode. I don't know, I'm just a sucker for supernatural games like this. So, yeah, let's get into it. Elevators are already a creepy space, but this game makes them all the more creepy. The game originated from a country in East Asia, most likely Japan, but it gained popularity in South Korea. There's speculation that it was inspired by real-life events. In 2006, an elevator in Tokyo malfunctioned, and it began running with the doors still open, and it killed a 16-year-old. An investigation found that this was one of several recent incidents where a specific kind of elevator would move with its doors still open. The crazy thing is that the elevator in this accident seemed to move without any buttons being pressed. And it went to, wait for it, the 5th floor and the 10th floor on its own. Now, I'll get into why this is important later. So when we get into that, you'll know. It's a very interesting parallel. But this was most likely due to a technical problem and nothing supernatural. But people in Japan most likely created this game as like a coping mechanism for, all the elevator malfunctions. But the game really started to take off in 2014. But the first mentions of the game were as early as 2008 on a Japanese message board. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's 5CH. It was previously known as 2CH. I don't know if there's a specific pronunciation for that, but anyway. It was then mentioned on the Gizmodo Japan's community forums in 2009. And then it popped up on South Korean sites Dom and Navier in 2010. Please forgive my pronunciations. It is not the best. I am so sorry. But the game eventually circulated worldwide in 2014. I remember around that time, that was around the time I was in the creepypastas, and I definitely remember seeing this everywhere. But there are many different versions of the game, but before we go over those, this is the most widely accepted version. You have to first find a building with at least 10 floors and an elevator. Bare minimum. You then enter the elevator alone or with friends. Some versions say you have to enter alone without anybody. You have to start over if anyone else gets on the elevator. Then you go to the 4th floor, down to the 2nd floor, up to the 10th floor, and back down to the 5th floor. Now, if you remember, we were talking about the elevator malfunction of how it was going to the 10th floor and the 5th floor on its own. So this is probably why this is in the game. Now, when you get to the 5th floor, a woman might get on the elevator. Just act like you're in a public restroom, don't acknowledge her, don't speak to her, even if she speaks to you. Some say if you do, she won't let you return to your dimension. Others say she'll follow you home. But now here's where it gets tricky. You have to press the 1st floor button. If the elevator takes you to the 1st floor, leave the elevator immediately. Don't look back and don't speak. If it takes you to the 10th floor, you'll be taken to the other world. If you exit the elevator, still ignore the lady. She'll try to speak to you, she'll try to stop you, but just ignore her. The world will look slightly different and empty. You might try to look out of a window, but only see a red cross in the distance. But if you don't get off the elevator, returning home is easy. All you have to do is press the 1st floor button. You might have to press it a couple times to get it to work, but interdimensional travel is always tricky. Couple slight problems there. If you explore the other world, getting back is more complicated. You have to use the elevator you used to get there. Then go to the 4th floor, 2nd floor, 6th floor, 2nd floor again, then the 10th floor, and then finish on the 5th. When you get to the 5th floor, press the button for the 1st floor. I know, this is so complicated. Come on. The elevator will try to take you back to the 10th floor. At this point, button mash the shit out of the buttons and try to stop it before it gets back to the 10th floor. Now, I don't know what happens if you don't stop it before it gets to the 10th floor, but it cannot be good. At all. Once it stops, press the 1st floor button again. Once you reach the 1st floor, don't get out. Check your surroundings first. If anything at all seems off, don't leave the elevator. Instead, press the 1st floor button until everything is normal. When you've reached your world, leave the elevator. As if that wasn't complicated enough. It would be way too complicated for me to play. Because I'd just be like, oh shit, what do I do next? And just end up getting stuck. That would be my luck. I go, fuck, I forgot what's next. Okay. But the early Japanese version of the game only states what happens up until you get to the 10th floor. So basically they were like, fuck it, you're on your own once you get there. But that's how a lot of ritual-based legends from Japan happen to end. You just kind of... It's just ends abruptly without a clear ending. But in early 2011, Korean versions did add a way to return back. I love how the Japanese version was just like, you'll make do. Figure it out. You're fine. But I did find on Reddit there was a user by the name of Ripped Geese, Ripped Geek, who posted in the No Sleep subreddit about his experience with the game. I know the No Sleep subreddit is filled with stories that aren't true. So this possibly isn't true. I mean, I read it and it doesn't seem real, but I thought it would be cool to share this. But he detailed how he followed the rules of the game, but nothing that was said to happen actually happened. Like, the woman didn't get on the elevator, he got off and everything looked normal. But later that night, he found he was having trouble sleeping. When he woke up the next day and went to get some groceries, he found the elevator he used was out of order. This is where the man baffles me. He made the connection that this was probably due to the game, but this genius just says, I'll take the stairs. And then it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Then he sees wet, muddy-looking footprints on the stairs, and he follows them. Like, sir, have you ever seen a horror movie in your life? Don't do it. Do not. But the footprints led him to the out-of-order elevator that was somehow now working. Like, what in the mother of fuck was this man thinking? He then gets in the elevator and tried to go to the 1st floor, but it took him to the 5th. And of course the lady gets on. He then breaks the rules like a dumbass and looks at her. Like, when he was reading about this game, I need him to confirm that he did, in fact, read the rules, that you're not supposed to look at this lady. Like, didn't that, click in his head? He noted that she smelled like a rotting corpse and looked like it too. It would be so hard to keep my fucking composure. I would be shitting myself. And he said it was like a bunch of rotting corpses shoved into one person. Very pleasant, apparently. What the fuck? He then completed the ritual, but found whenever he closed his eyes, he was back into the other world being chased by the woman. One night, he claimed that she caught him and touched her finger to his abdomen, and it sunk right into his body. Invasion of privacy. No. When he woke up, he was in pain, he was burning up, and he had a dark red mark on his abdomen. He went to the ER. I'm sorry, but this man is absolutely fucking baffling me right now. He went to the ER and he was told he had internal bleeding. He had a come to Jesus moment and fell asleep in the hospital's chapel. So, like, he went into the chapel, prayed, and then passed the fuck out. And it ends with him checking out of the hospital and saging his house, which worked for about a week. I'm sorry, but if I have internal bleeding, I'm staying in the ER. I'm not saying, fuck it, checking myself out and saging my house. I'm getting patched up first, and then we'll sage. There are 2 updates to this. The first update, he tries another ritual. He tries another ritual called Hitori Kakurenbo. I think I pronounced that right. But it's also known as the one-man hide-and-seek. It's like when you take a doll, put your, like, nail clippings or whatever in there, and then say some shit, and you basically play hide-and-seek with a demon in a doll. Never do it. Do not recommend. But of course, it didn't go well. And I guess this guy doesn't get the term play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Because later in the story, his friend ends up getting stabbed in the thigh. And that's where it lost me. I'm like, so you didn't, like, think, oh, maybe I should stop doing this? After I was put in the hospital, after I played the elevator game. Like, you didn't think of that? But, this game does have more to it than I originally thought. It was actually interesting how far down the rabbit hole this, game took me. It also has connections to the death of Elisa Lam, the lady who was mysteriously found dead in the Cecil Hotel. If you've ever seen the video, it's fucking creepy. It scares the shit out of me every time. There's no, like, jump scares or anything. It's just fucking creepy, man. I don't believe the game has anything to do with her death, but some people do. People theorize that she died playing the elevator game. If you want to look more up on that, feel free. It doesn't make sense to me that she died playing the elevator game. I mean, I see how people make the connection, because she was last seen in an elevator, you know, looking out and, like, peeking her head back in and acting like something was chasing her. But I don't know. I think she died under mysterious circumstances. There's definitely something spooky going on there. But, I just don't... I don't know. I think it's kind of disrespectful to her and her family, like, saying, oh, it was an elevator game, whatever. I definitely believe something fucky was up with that. People also believe that the elevator game is another way to get into the back rooms. Now, you might be asking yourself, hey Oz, what are the back rooms? The back rooms are a place outside of our reality. It's basically a place with different levels of liminal spaces filled with different supernatural entities on every level. Fun. Not a place you want to go. The idea of the back rooms came from 4chan in 2019 when a user posted a photo of a liminal space, and people ran with it from there. The only way to get out of the back rooms is to accept that that's now your home, and then you'll be allowed to leave. Some people say they've had experiences with the back rooms. I actually had a comment on my Facebook post asking for people's stories about the elevator game in the back rooms, so I can add it to this episode. One person wrote this. This is the whole quote. When I was in the hospital, semi-comatose, it felt like the back rooms. I didn't know about them then, but I always described it as being in a place between existence and the nothing. A liminal space version of the whole world. Nothing felt real until I woke up, but even then it didn't feel 100% right again until I was home. I felt like I saw a part of the world I shouldn't have. That's freaky. That's freaky as shit. But it's also really cool because I'm about to get into it, but I do believe the backrooms exist in some aspect. I do believe there are parallel universes and other dimensions that we can access in our sleep and through like astral projection and lucid dreaming. The CIA actually, this is where it goes down the rabbit hole a bit. The CIA actually did a study about this. It was called the Gateway Process. I'll link the website I was reading about this on in the description, but they did research into parallel universes and astral projection. It was actually really interesting to read, but I do believe that it's possible that the backrooms do exist in a different universe. Like, it is possible, because, like, think about it. If there's an infinite amount of parallel universes and, like, different dimensions, they have to exist somewhere. And if the theory's right that when you dream, you go to a parallel universes, who's to say you can't access the back rooms? I don't know. I guess I'm just a little out there. But anyway, back to how this connects to the elevator game. There's an elevator you can access in the back rooms that you can use to access levels 0 through 999. It's very rare to find this, though. But I have a theory that the elevator game lets you access this elevator. But there is a problem with this theory. The elevator in the back room only has 2 buttons, one to close and open the door, and another one to enter a level. To get to the level you want, all you have to do is think about what level you want to go to and press the button. Also, instead of a woman, there's a lift man who explains how the elevator works. But it's safe to say there is a lot in common with the elevator game and the back rooms. Because, like, they're both liminal spaces, they both have an elevator, they both have supernatural entities, and you can also get trapped in both of them. But, yeah, so that is all about the elevator game. I don't think I'll ever try playing this game. I'm just not a fan of creepy entities and elevators for sure. I get super claustrophobic and never in my life would ever want to get stuck in an elevator. I think at that point I'd just die. But I mean, it does seem cool though in some aspect, like just being in a complete, like, take away the creepy woman, it would seem really cool just to be in a world where it's just you. I think that would be really cool to, like, explore and see. So maybe I'll try it. I doubt it works. If anyone else out there has stories about the elevator game or the back rooms, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear your stories. Absolutely love to hear your stories. I find it so interesting. Like, I love when people tell me their, like, supernatural experiences. Because it makes me feel less crazy. But yeah, that was the episode. I know it's a bit short today, but I definitely had a lot of fun researching this. And just keep looking on the channel. I know I don't post much, but I will try. I will try to post more. I know right after this, I'm gonna start working on the next episode, which is gonna be the Midnight Man game. Now, I will give you a tad bit of information on this. It is connected to an old pagan ritual that was used for punishment. So that's fun. This one actually might be real, because, as you know, I am a pagan, so I do believe this game was real in a sense. So, we will be going into that in the next episode. Alright, you guys have been a great audience. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely leave your comments with all your stories if you have experience with the back rooms and the elevator game. let me know. So yeah, I'll be putting out an announcement when the next episode should be coming out. But thank you for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and have a lovely, lovely day.